It's a beautiful day in Southern California, and we are back. This is Vamos Rams Player Interview, presented by California Resources Corporation. I'm your host, Roy Santiago, with my partner, Ricardo Lopez Juarez. And today, we have one of our defensive captains, and he had a breakout season in 2024, finishing second on team tackles. Captain Q, Quentin Lake, welcome back. Finally, have the chance to talk to you again, and it's a pleasure to having you today in Vamos Rams.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be back. Thank you guys so much for having me.
How you doing, brother? I mean, it's been a journey for you from a 6-round pick to team captain in 3 years. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's been a wild journey, but I'm so thankful and glad to be part of such a great organization. You look back at all the trials and tribulations that you go on through in life, or just really even the 3-year span that I've been here, and you appreciate so much that you have such a great support system, such great coaches, staff, and teammates to help you along the ride. And, my goal, at least, over the course of the 3 years, was to constantly improve. Each and every year get better and better and better at different things, and I feel like I've done that. But, it's been awesome, and I'm hoping to make this year my best year.
Hey, Quentin, how's your family?
Family's great. Family's great. My dad and mom are, back home in Irvine. Brother actually recently just graduated from UC Berkeley. He got his bachelor's in physics. Think about that. That's
wow,
smart.
Wow,
really smart. And then my sister, I got to see her at my brother's graduation. She is working in sales at a winery. So everybody's doing great. Everybody's healthy. That's the main thing. Healthy, active, and successful.
Talk about an interesting family, mister. But you were talking about your route as a player. But what does it mean to represent the Rams, the city of Los Angeles, maybe the greatest sports city in the world right now?
Yeah, for me, because I grew up here, because I grew up around, the Valley, Orange County. I'm from Orange County, and then obviously LA. It's been amazing, to be able to work in the community, go home and see my family. I spend time with friends, whenever I get some free time. It's amazing. And you look at the past year, we'll just talk about the past year, and in terms of the fires and all that stuff, it really takes, you take a step back and you kind of realize it's much more than just you being a football player. There's 3 hours of enjoyment each and every Sunday that people, specifically the, county of Los Angeles, and really just California in general, look at us for hope and look at us to give them, that sense of enjoyment and joy. And especially when the fires happened, going out and playing in Arizona and winning that playoff game meant so much. So, to your point, being in LA, it's been awesome, and it really has kind of broadened my perspective of how impactful you can be.
And I like to return that topic you brought, because January this year was really hard for too many people in Los Angeles. And when the Rams had to play in Arizona, the game's supposed to be in SoFi Stadium.
Yeah.
And then all the logistics to move the game to the Cardinals Stadium and all the people to show up. How was that moment for you guys?
It was wild. You can imagine, and I don't know if they get it in the view, but you can obviously, the Palisades fire were over there, and then you could see another fire, pop up while we're at practice over here. So that really gave us a big perspective of what was going on. Obviously, we wanted to do the best to support the families, to make sure that everybody was okay, including our families. But it was wild. Like, there were fires in like 2018, 2019 when I was, at school at UCLA, that was insane. But this was kind of crazy because it specifically affected families' homes and families that were just around the area. There was a lot of infrastructure damage. So I'm glad that kind of everything is getting back to normal. And then obviously, I think this organization, the Rams organization, has done a fantastic job of showing support, whether it's to the firefighters or to the families that lost their homes.
And that game was, I think, the most memorable game of the last season.
Oh, 100%. That game, obviously we talked about the magnitude of the fires, but then you go into a game and, the Vikings, they're a really good opponent. For us to go in there, the defensive front set a couple records. They had a whole bunch of sacks. We held them under 10 points, which is almost unheard of just in general in the NFL. So to go, with all the stuff happening, to go in there and have a performance like that, showed that, this team or last year's team was built to overcome adversity.
And that was a very amazing run by our defense.
Mhm.
There were 4 straight games, except the last week.
Yeah.
That doesn't
Yeah,
count,
yeah.
really, where you led the other team under 10
Yeah.
points. Tell us about this defense,
Mhm.
because the stats say the Rams were number 26 in yards allowed, but
Mhm.
we know this defense can be really special.
Yeah.
How you see the defense improving this year?
Yeah, we improved a lot. I think last year we had to find our identity. We didn't really understand, kind of our defensive identity, and we found that going into the second half of the season. And then really when we started buying in and players kind of got comfortable and understood their roles, that's when you saw us consistently being the dominant defense that we know we can be. And I think that momentum, especially with all the games that we were doing really well, gives us the confidence going into this year to say, hey, we're a really good defense. We put it on tape. Now let's just continue to do that starting from game 1.
Now, you guys have serious hitters in the DL with Jared Burris, Braden Fisk.
Mm-hmm.
But how about Kobe Durant,
Mm-hmm.
his hitting ability last year, and obviously yourself?
Mhm.
Tell me about this, physical factor of this defense. I think this can be very intimidating for your position.
Yeah, I think so too. You look at guys that have been in the system, we kind of already understand, what it requires to be dominant. I think our coaches do a great job. Coach, Aubrey Pleasant, Coach Chris Beek, obviously our defensive coordinator, Chris Shula, they do a fantastic job of instilling our 4 core fundamentals, which is kill blocks, tackling, takeaways, and pursuits of the ball. And as long as we're doing those things, we'll be okay. And then in terms of the physicality, just guys overall, you see it on the defensive front with, guys like Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, Byron Young, Kobe Turner. We got some great additions. Put it forward. Brennan Jackson does a great job. And then, obviously the linebacker room in the secondary, they set it, and then we just kind of bring it along. They've had great success. You had the, defensive rookie of the year. We had a runner-up defensive rookie of the year in Kobe Turner the year before that. Byron Young has a lot of success as a young player. Braden Fisk had a really, really good season. So these are young guys where their career has just taken off really from the beginning. And I'm so excited to see what they do, this year and years to come. So I'm excited. We have a really good defense at the end of the day. So it's just a matter of, building the repetition, the camaraderie right now, so that it's really, really easy for us when it starts, game 1 against the Texans.
Exactly, but this is the feeling now.
Mm-hmm.
What happened last season in the moment Aaron Donald announced retirement?
Mhm.
That was one of the hardest news for the team, obviously you guys, and then being one of the youngest defense in the NFL with a new coordinator, as Chris Shula. Now we can see what happened last year, but in the moment, what happened?
Yeah, honestly, you bringing up that, it feels like old news at this point. It seems like Aaron Donald retired like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That was the storyline of what is the Rams defense going to be like without Aaron Donald. Everybody knew that. There was a lot of speculation going around to figure out how we were kind of going to replace him. And you look at guys, shout out to the scouting department for finding, Braden Fisk and Jared Verse. Those are 2 guys that dominated when they came in. But yeah, now it's, watch out for this young Rams defense.
Yep.
It's not anymore like what is this Rams defense going to do without Aaron Donald. Is watch out for these guys. This is a tough, talented, young defensive group, and we did that because of the work that we're putting in right now, and that really title that we have is going to continue to grow, especially into the season.
No, I love the fact that you are you see our offense, the Rams offense, like another version of the greatest show on turf. I love that part of what you are seeing with this team. But I'm going to tell you 3 names. I will ask you to tell me the first thing comes up to your mind. Okay?
Okay.
So, Kobe Turner.
Relentless.
J.B. Long, the voice of the Rams.
Enthusiastic.
The Vince Lombardi Trophy.
Ours.
Well, before we finish our interview, I know you like superhero movies, so I'm going to give you a list of names, and you tell me what superhero or villain they will be. Jared Verse,
Bane.
Byron Young,
Okay, I got a different one. Jared Verse is Venom. Byron Young is Bane.
I like what you're thinking, and Braden Fisk,
Lex Luthor.
Kobe Turner.
You know what I'm gonna say, and this is interesting. I'm gonna say Thanos, just because if you look at what he tried to do, it was actually the execution wasn't great, but his mindset was good.
Kobe Durant.
Oh man, Deadpool.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you.
Deadpool.
Akela Witherspoon.
Oh, that's so tough. I'll go.
He's being very careful.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't want to kind of mess. I don't want to mess people. Gambit.
You.
Me. Who am I gonna pick for myself?
Miles Morales, man. Come on.
I can't pick Miles. Oh, that would have been so good. I want to say, like, I can't. I would. Okay, I'm gonna say Nightcrawler. I like Nightcrawler. I was gonna say Mystique,
Okay.
but I
Okay.
can't be a girl. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
So I'm gonna go either that or Professor X. Actually, I'll go Professor X. I think that's better.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
so-
Because you have that green dot also in your helmet, so it's,
We,
it's,
we need
it's,
some t-shirts now.
it's cool. It's cool. It's
Yeah.
cool. Quentin, thank you for stopping by. We appreciate you stopping by. Obviously, it's a pleasure to having you with us. And this is a wrap from Quentin Lake, Ricardo Lopez Juarez, Torres Santiago here. Vamos, Rams!
Vamos, Rams!